thanks for joining today. We are going to be taking a look at my top 5 Notion alternatives, specifically for managing release notes for business to business organizations. Now, for any business, communicating product changes and any updates is critical to ensure transparency and manage trust with your businesses or your end users. Now, overall, I do like Notion. I have to say it's a great tool. In terms of the product suite, they do have a lot of functionality within the platform. However, it's actually almost in a way too much and can be overly complex and a little bit of overkill for smaller organizations, or if you're wanting a more simplified tool. I will say that I do prefer tools that are able to work offline as well. So that is something that I was targeting specifically in the alternative solutions that I looked at. Now, another one of the items I was looking for was ease of use. So that is something that is critical, and the options that I'm going to be giving you, or rather alternatives, are specifically focused around ease of use. In terms of specific features, things like widgets, customized pages, that kind of thing is really important to businesses. So do keep in mind that all of these things should be what you should be looking for in a release notes tool. There is also other features with regards to Markdown functionality. I do like that in the tools. That is something that is super important for me. Now, another one that should be something that you would look for in a product management tool is user segmentation. So ideally where you've got different users, maybe internal, maybe external, maybe product teams, maybe specifically categorized according to feature sets or functionalities within the tool. I do like having the ability to segment my audience specifically for those updates, as well as be able to manage a internal and external view depending on who my audience is. And if sometimes the internal communications should not be going to external parties. Now, what we're going to be doing is taking a deep dive into some of these tools. I will take you through the platform so you can get a little bit of an idea of the look and feel and overall ease of use of the system. Now, first up on the list is AHA. What I quite liked on this is that they can actually set you up with a like a demo almost environment. So if you're not sure of if you think the tool is something that you would be keen on, what you could do is then just have the demo environment set up for you. It does pre-populate a lot of the information. Um, and I really like this because it does give you an idea of different features within the tool. Now, they've got a lot of features. I will just say, of course, you're going to be looking at your main board, but overall, the tool itself is a really visual tool. So that is something that stands out from a lot of the other tools. For me, it is a little bit of a complex board. So keep that in mind that you may need to know your way around the tool a little bit. And the best way to do that would just be getting to grips with the functionality itself. Take a look at the free trial that they've got on offer. What you can then do is, as mentioned, use the pre-populated data. You can click around. You can go through different views like this. So I quite like this. You've got different options for like things like Gantt views. You can look at things like retrospectives. You can go back to your Kanban board, which is what we looked at in the beginning. And just overall, it is a very visual tool. So I think that's important to know that if you are a team that likes to visualize everything, this is a great idea. Now, another one of the features I quite like is that you can segment your audience. So keep in mind that was something that is important for me. I do like that. You can manage things like strategy. You can add things to your knowledge base. So again, if that's something that's important to you, have a look at this. They've got a lot of really cool tips and tricks within the tool as well. They do help you do this in terms of managing some of the pop-ups with AI, which I quite like as well. So you can use a lot of the features within the tool to help you get started, get up and running. So if your team's not very technical, this might be a good tool for you to have a look at. So you will see the AI assistant in the top right-hand corner. You can make use of this. Overall, I think that's really cool. You can actually even use it for your release notes drafting before you publish that out, which is quite cool. So you can use the agent to help you draft that. And overall, yeah, I think it ticks a lot of the boxes for what I needed. I just found the view was a little bit overwhelming. So I would say it's not as intuitive of some of the other tools I've used. And if you're a non-technical PM or product manager or somebody else that's working within the team, it might take you a little bit of time to get to grips with all the different features within the tool. So keep that in mind. Overall, really great tool. Can be a little bit too complex for smaller teams, but really, really great and easy to use. If you are familiar with a lot of these kind of categories that you would need to get up and running with your product management tools. Um, Take a look at them. Overall, really good. Starting price is not bad. They are around about $49 per user per month. So not too extravagant in terms of costing, but you will need to have the paid for version to access all the full features. Now, moving on to the next app we've got is our Headway changelog management tool, of course, with release notes as well. Really fantastic tool. I found it super simple, but almost to the point of it being um, too simple in a way. So if you are a organization that does need to manage a lot of really advanced features within the tool, I did find that it was almost too simple. If you are a small organization that just needs to publish updates, in terms of your release notes, they are probably a really good tool for you. So we've got different ways that we can categorize our announcements as well, which I quite like. So you do have the option to categories. You do have a Markdown editor, which is really great. So I did like that within the tool itself that you can use a Markdown editor. For those who are not familiar with that, this helps you publish your release notes to a number of different documents and different apps, for example, and make sure that you're not losing that structure. So it keeps things bold, it keeps things underlined, and it just keeps it more straightforward overall. So I quite like that within the app as well. You do have things like category labels that you can change and amend as you go. Um, so a lot of really cool features within the app itself as well. Um, Overall, really easy to use, I must say. So if you're a non-technical team, if you're a very lean team that just needs to manage simple updates, really, really great to use. They do have a widget as well, which I quite like. In any tool, having a little pop-up widget is a great way to reach right audiences at the right time. So keep in mind that you can configure this to be visible or invisible within the app. So overall, really great. As mentioned, I think its simplicity is its strong point, but it can be a little too simple for perhaps more larger organizations that really need something that is super complex. If they've got a lot of product management teams that you're dealing with, it may be a little bit too simple. However, they do have a free plan, so I do want to keep that in mind. It is quite a simple free plan. But then from the pro plan, you're looking at around about $29 per month, per user per month, I might add. And that is really reasonable in terms of what they offer. So again, if you're a startup, a smaller organization, it's a bit more cost conscious, they are a good option to take a look at. Now, taking a look at our next tool here is one of my favorites. I love Beamer. It's a really fantastic tool. You've got a lot of functionality within the tool itself. I would say that this is probably a better fit for large organizations. So if you've got a lot of boxes to tick, they really do kind of do it all. In terms of the user interface, it is super simple. You can manage various updates, communications within the app itself. You can keep a running sort of memo of all your change logs that have gone out. I do like that they've got the ability to use Markdown as well. So that is something that you can monitor. You do have a lot of functionality within the tool to review things that have been published in the past. You can also preview a lot of these before you publish, which I quite like. In terms of the other features, you can look at feedback, so gathering feedback from your users. There's just a lot of pros within the tool. I think one of the ones that did stand out for me is the widget and getting your NPS or Net Promoter Score feedback. So again, this is something that they do really well. It is fully customizable, so I quite like this. If you've got different tools, different products, different sites that you need to monitor feedback on, Beamer does as well. I do find the page loading speed, as we can see, is a little bit slow, but I do believe it's just because the tool is quite heavy itself. So keep that in mind in terms of the teams that you're managing. You might find that Beamer can take a little bit of time to load. Now, once your tool has loaded, you'll be able to see a lot of information around the analytics. So this is really, I would say, one of the strong points within Beamer, especially that compared to other tools where they don't necessarily manage the NPS or the Net Promoter Score as well. They do give you the ability to deep dive into this, looking at things like distribution, promoters, history over time, which I really like. And you can, if you are on the premium version, see a lot more information with regards to this. You could also see your users and any feedback that they've given. Um, Tracking responses, events, all of this is really cool and easy within the tool. And as mentioned, I do like the fact that they can allow quite a lot of customization within the widget itself. So you could either use something like this, where it's a 1 to 10 score. You could use emojis, and then you can color customize this as well. Another one of their really big draw points is that they do have multi-language support, even within that widget and NPS itself, which is really cool. So keep in mind that although that this is a really fantastic tool, I haven't even gone through half the features that are here because it is quite a lot. Um, it is something that you will need to consider if you do have someone who's got quite a lot of time dedicated to managing this, because it does take a little bit of time to get up and running. It does work really well, but it may be overkill for a really small company who doesn't need such advanced settings within the tool itself. So do keep that in mind. Overall, really great, fantastic for organizations that need multi-language support. And yeah, just a lot of customization within the tool, which I think is fantastic. Again, like some of the other tools that we've seen, they do offer user segmentation. So that is something that comes within the tool. Um, and overall, just fantastic, really easy to use. I do want to say that this is mainly aimed at external users. So keep in mind, if you're only managing internal communications, this may, again, just be a little bit of an overkill for your organization. They do have quite limited AI features as well compared to some of the other tools like we've seen. However, that should not necessarily be a make or break for you. That is not necessarily something that may be important, so don't worry about that. And then I do want to say that the pricing can be expensive for really small organizations. So they do base it on a number of active users. And the pricing ranges anything from $49 a month to $249 per month. But they do have a free plan as well, but it is very limited. So keep in mind that if you are a small organization, again, I would have a look at trialing out the free version, see if it's for you. Should that not be for you, at least you could get a good idea of the functionality within the tool before making a decision. Now, moving on to one of my other favorite tools is Launch Notes. If you've not heard of them before, definitely take a look at them. Now, on the Launch Notes site itself, they've got an onboarding checklist. So again, if you don't have very technical product managers within your team, this is really good tool for you to get up and running with, because they kind of take you through everything from start to finish. As you get going, you won't need a lot of technical know-how. I found it was really simple, really easy to get up and running. It's very user-friendly. I do like that they've got like pre-configured dashboards like this, so we could customize that, pop your information through, and it does populate that, assuming that you have data for it to show. But there are a lot of really cool tools within the app itself. Now, you can manage a number of announcements. They do have templates available from within the tool itself, which I quite liked as well. Um, you can keep track of anything that's been published, and you can also edit your templates. So if you've got a template that you want to get going with, they've got some pre-configured ones, which I really liked. Add it in there, customize it, and then you'll be able to reuse this later on. Another one of the really cool tools that I really liked is that you can group announcements together. So if you want to just publish in one go, but you've got a number of communications that need to go out, you can group these all in a digest. You can set your audience. You can set your audience up to be subscribers or domains or even cohorts. And depending on if you want it external, internal, all that kind of customization is a function within the tool itself. I quite like this, and I also like the fact that you do have cohorts. So I would say that this is one of the features I haven't seen in a lot of the other apps itself. And you can see here they do give you guideline text within the app, which I really like. And you can ensure that your announcements are sent to certain groups of subscribers and domains, even if they've not subscribed. So I really like that. It is really easy to then group those together, make sure that you're getting your comms out to the right people at the right time, as mentioned, even if they haven't subscribed. So that may be important to you. Now, as mentioned, in terms of the settings, you can customize the page a lot. So you do have that branding ability. You can go quite far in terms of the custom HTML and CSS. You can add categories and labels. So depending on, for example, your app or any parts of your product that you want to sort of categorize, you can do that within the tool. And then you can add labels so that your users will be able to see exactly which part of your product is being affected, as well as what it relates to. So is it a fix? Is it an enhancement? Is it a new feature? And so on. So just a lot of different functionalities within the tool. They do have feedback and ideas that come straight into a roadmap, which I like. And not all of these tools have roadmaps, which was quite interesting. Roadmap as well was super simple to use. You can drag and drop, set up your categories, any specific information that you want within the tool. So overall, really great to use. I will say that this is probably one of those tools that is going to have a lot of features. So if you're not a full product management team that's needing so much, it might be a bit overkill, but overall super simple and easy to use compared to some of the other tools that I have trialed out. And I would say in terms of the branding options, look, they've got quite a lot within the tool, but it may be more limited than some of the other tools I've had a look at. And yeah, if you're needing a lot of more information around NPS or Net Promoter Score, that is quite limited with Launch Notes compared to some of the other tools, but you still can gather that feedback and idea into your roadmap and link it into there directly, which is really useful. Now, in terms of pricing and plans, they do have a free 14-day trial available. So do make use of that. Have a look around, see how easy it is to use, decide if that is for you or if that's not for you. And thereafter, you could look at pricing, which starts around about $99 a month, and it does go up to about $299 per month with a discount for annual plans. Um, Now, they do have a premium plan available with customized pricing depending on the features that you're looking for. So that might be an option for you as well if you're needing quite a lot in terms of the tool. So hopefully that gives you a good idea of Launch Notes and its very cool functionality. Now, going on to the last of the tools, and I've saved this one for last because it is just such a polarizing tool. Now, Jira, people either love it or hate it. I know that it can seem like this would probably not be the best to do release notes within the tool. However, I have you know that they do this quite well, and this is really a good option for organizations um, that already use Jira. So keep that in mind. Now, if your company already uses Jira, you can use the Jira Service Management tool, or you could use the Product Management Suite that will help you get into all the nitty gritty with regards to your product management and having your items straight from your service management or from a product enhancement straight into your release notes. You can draft release notes within the tool itself, so they do have that functionality that you can specifically tailor it for release notes. So keep that in mind. They've got quite a lot of products available in here. Rovo is one of the newer products that they've recently launched as well, so you may not have heard this just yet. But with Rovo, you can do quite a lot in terms of AI, which will help you manage your release notes a lot quicker and kind of a little bit easier. So keep in mind that do have a look at this. They, of course, do have a free plan. It is limited for up to 10 users, but they may not be a bad option to look at. There's a lot of knowledge articles out there in terms of the release note management itself. So do take a look, take a deep dive into the tool itself. They are really reasonable in terms of costing. From experience of using it myself, though, I do find it is very cost effective until you need additional features. And then all of a sudden it seems to scale quite drastically. So do keep that in mind. But starting at $8.60 per user per month, they really do have a good price point. And of course, it scales up quite drastically depending on your organization size. That it could be anything in terms of premium pricing kind of levels that you may expect. However, that is customized for your organization. So yeah, don't give them a skip. Do have a look at them. They do have quite a lot of really cool features within the app. So take a look and take a look at the new AI tool as well. Great. Thanks for joining me today. I hope that has given you some idea as to some of the best alternatives to Notion. And as mentioned, I would take a look at the free trials where possible, try out the free plans, and get a good idea of what may suit your organization best. Thank you.